You're honorable. You know, you're trying to cover it up. Also, what about Joe Cortez? Why can't this guy talk?
I don't know. I asked him, was it a knockdown? He said, like, and I said it was hard to decide. What does that mean?
Yeah, okay, hard to no, that's a counter, bro. I'll tell you. He said it was hard to decide. He knows what. He jumped in and said no. What did he say? He said no knockdown. Look at the faces around everybody. You've been in front of your gyms. You know how often knockdowns happen in boxing gyms. Look at everybody's face outside the ring. If there was a knockdown, really knockdown,
they would jump up and
they would react. Knockdowns in boxing gyms that happen so rarely. Look at the nonchalant faces everywhere. Nobody even thought it was close. The editing was so good. I tell you, the way the camera footage and whatever, they made it even look controversial. Matter of fact, when I first saw it, I'm like, wait a minute. It got me. I was like, whoa. You know, I had to slow it down and do all that shit, and then it kind of come into mind the way it really happened. But nice job by them. It was Spielberg-esque, even though Dana White says he's not Spielberg. No, Dana White's not even Beetlejuice from Howard Stern, let alone Spielberg. But we didn't think he was the one that edited it anyway.
Floyd Mayweather is going to make $7.2 million per minute. What do you guys say about that? A minute.
What about the sponsors?
Oh, we didn't include that.
And we didn't include the pay-per-view. $25 million in sponsors. You know?
The interesting breakdown for me is how much per punch is each fighter going to take. That's what I want to know, because obviously Mayweather's going to be taking a lot less punches than McGregor is what we would expect. So who comes out better on the punch count ratio?
What if you just get paid per punch thrown? We can still break it down like that. That way everybody wins. Per punch thrown, we'll look at the stats at the end of the fight, how many punches these guys threw, and then you break it down. This guy made this much per punch thrown, this guy made this much per punch thrown. Anybody would want to get paid like that.
Does Conor land on Floyd anything significant?
Cleanly, like Shane Mosley did, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard. I think Conor can land grazing shots. I think Conor on the inside wrestles around. He skirts the edge of legal and illegal. Actually, he doesn't even skirt it. He's got to learn to skirt it. He's a little bit too obvious with dirty stuff. If he learns to skirt it the right way, a lot of times he's holding and hitting, which I guess that's landing, but it's really just an arm punch. You know, Conor for me has to learn to, and hopefully in the last few weeks he learned it, but I don't think you can learn that stuff in a few weeks. To learn to leverage his punches on the inside, because the inside is where he needs to be effective. On the outside, although I think he's an effective fighter on the outside of mixed martial arts, I think that's his best range of mixed martial arts. I think Floyd's best range on the outside as well. You're not going to beat Floyd at that game. So I think on the inside, he needs to figure out a way to leverage his punches on the inside. That's the more important thing, because he's going to get inside and he's rough and whatever, but is he leveraging any actual damage? You know what I'm saying? Is he doing any damage? Is he leaving Mayweather with anything to where when they're broken up again, at least I left him with some damage. I left him with something to think about. Because just wrestling around, it's going to get you worn, it's going to get points taken off, and ultimately it's going to just burn a lot of energy. And every time you break, Floyd's going to start kicking your ass. So you got to leverage it correctly.
As a UFC star that you are, what would you do if you fought Mayweather tonight?
I would do the unpredictable. I would try not to be a boxer as much as possible. You know, stand outside a punching range, crash forward, land big shots on his guard, on his hands, on his shoulders, and then rough him up inside. Skirt the rules. You know, I would play that as much as possible. You know, bringing Joe Cortez in was I think a smart move. Obviously, he was integral in the Hatton fight, so I think kind of understanding how he can push his luck and what he can get away with is smart. But the truth is, for me, the trash talk in that build-up with Paulie would be amazing, and I think the fight would be even more interesting because the analytical mind on this guy and McGregor as well, those two going back and forth is really what I want to see. That's a fight. That's a fight.
I think it will happen. I think if he stays in boxing, the next fight is with you. Are you aware that that's a good option?
Yeah, I think the way things are moving around, and when I think about the way they went about things, I think they were thinking about this even before I was thinking about this. You know, the way they went about things, the way they slowly leaked out pictures and then video, like they spread it out so that people kept talking about it as opposed to just putting it out all at once and just letting it go. You know, I think the plan was always to keep this kind of inherent beef alive. You know, it was weird. It was almost annoying for me. But
you were very respectful. I would say that you came with good intentions. You really wanted to.
You look at any interview I did before the first picture came out. You know, then when the first picture came out, started having to answer some weird questions, and I had to look out for myself as well as, you know, getting the weird questions from other people, you know, because they were coming from that first picture. And then he put up another picture, and then he put up obviously the pictures that I ended up leaving afterwards. In the video. So, you know, I think if you look at the timeline, it was pretty respectful, except 6 months ago. But 6 months ago, let's be honest, man. Fighters talk shit all the time about each other. If they don't fight, you hug it out when you see each other. I've had that beef in the media with Robert Guerrero, Devin Alexander, Demetrius Hopkins, even when I'm during my first world title.
I started the one with Devin Alexander.
Yeah, and anytime we see each other, we hug it out with, because it's like, whatever, you never fought, and you both understand this is a hustle, this is a business, and sometimes, you know,
promotion.
you got to fight, and you got to try to build a fight if that's the case. If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen, and you kind of just hug it out. So this guy's a weird guy. I mean, that's kind of what you have to think about. How creepy is it to bring like a guy you don't like into camp? Isn't that creepy?
Do you
Like,
regret going, Paulie?
If I don't get the fight, that'll be a regret. Yeah.
Okay, but if you get the fight, it was.
If I get the fight, I'll knock his ass out. So I'll laugh less. And he knows I'll knock his ass out too. So it's
One
not
thing-
like it's a doubt. Like Paulie can't punch. He's gonna get the shit beat out of him so bad by me that he'll get stopped.
One thing
he
I will
doesn't
say-
have the biggest balls. I'm sorry to tell you. I already break it out to you. He has all this bluster, all this loudness. When it comes to actually having balls, push comes to shove, being in a tough spot, he doesn't have the biggest balls.
Why do you say that?
What do I say that? Because I've seen it with my own eyes. Number one, inside the ring, I've seen it with my own eyes. And look at the Nate Diaz. Look at the Nate Diaz fight. The way he quit. Look at the Nate Diaz fight. You have a couple of choices, and I was just explaining it to these guys earlier. You have a couple of choices in the Nate Diaz fight. You're starting to get your ass kicked in round 2 after a big round 1. You have a couple of choices. You can try to keep the fight on your feet, take more punches, but it's your best option because you may land a big shot and get him out of there. You may, option number 2, try to keep the fight on your feet, try to land that big shot and not land it at all. So both options require you getting your ass kicked, but they also give you the one option of you coming back to win the fight. Or your last option, put yourself out of your misery, shoot in on the black belt of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you'll be taken out of your misery right there. You won't have to take a beating, the fight will be over. What do you choose? He's got no balls, guy. You can't create that. You can't teach that. You can't give a fighter balls when they don't have any. So it's all a bunch of bluster. You're either born with balls or you're not born with balls. And he's born with no balls. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. And it's a problem that comes out when shit gets tough. As a matter of fact, it's a problem I look forward to seeing on Saturday night. How's he going to start fouling? Because one option he has is he's going to start fouling out, with all the rabbit punches pushing down behind the head. He's going to get a lot of warnings. You're going to ask Cortez if he admits that. Hopefully he admits that. He took points from him, but Dana White admitted it. In the sparring, you're going to have the option to foul out at a certain point because you're going to be on the verge of getting disqualification once you lose a point or two. You're going to have the option to stay in the corner and sit it out. You're going to have the option to stop.